Yes, who are you? What do you want?
I'm Julian Olcott. The director is expecting me.
Enter, please.
Thank you.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Be calm.
1.
Wolf doesn't bother anyone. I'm Walter, the caretaker.
I'm pleased to meet you.
The studio of the director is in front of that court at the left.
Down there in front?
At the left. Give me your suitcase.
Thank
I'll
you
take it.
very much.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
It's a pleasure for you, too, isn't it, teacher?
Quickly, please take her to the infirmary and make room so that she can get some air.
Look, she can't even look at a new man without fainting dead away.
I'm sure she's pretending.
That one? I've known that one for a long time, way before she faked it.
Mary has a marvelous ability for always being in trouble.
Love has never killed anyone. She's just found a way to make it pay plenty for her. Beautiful.
I don't think that's the reason she did it.
Then what do you think it is? Only a man can make Mary pass out. She's bound to recover in the infirmary so she can go out tonight.
You are Julian Olcott, sir?
Yes, I am.
I am Leonore MacDonald.
I'm very glad to know you.
The director is expecting you.
Thank you.
Julian Olcott, correct?
Yes, that's right.
How do you do?
Pleasure. Dr. Benson told me to see you, and here I am.
Dr. Benson is an old friend. He wrote to me. I've been expecting you. Sit down, please.
Thank you. There's something I should tell you.
Please, sit down, Doctor. Yes, Dr. Olcott. I know everything. Benson explained it to me, and he also said you were acting in good faith.
That's very kind of you. You know the court of law has found me to be innocent.
I know. So here you'll just be Professor Julian Orcutt, and the past shall be of no importance.
Thank you. It's very good of you.
You don't have to thank me. Thank our mutual friend, Dr. Benson. I hope you'll be comfortable here. Our institute is not a house of punishment. The girls are given a chance here by the generosity of our benefactors. Without this institute, the majority of them would be in some state reformatory. We are trying to give them work and an education and put them back on the right road. No one is ill-treated here, but your job will not be an easy one.
Very good. I shall do my best because it's also important to me to find myself.
Surely, the past can become a nightmare unless we can free ourselves of it.
Sir, while I was coming here, I saw a girl who had just fainted.
Oh, that's Mary Smith. Don't be concerned because she's just coming of age.
I hope the future will be better.
Yes. But you must remember that here you are not a doctor anymore, but just a professor of science.
Of course. I won't forget.
If you'll come along, I'll show you your quarters.
Ah, thank you very much.
This way, please, Professor.
Sandy. You hear the wolves? The other day, the farmers had to kill 2 of them. The people are going mad with fear.
If I were Mary, I would be frightened.
Look there.
Mary! She means trouble, so why bother? It's better to forget her. Let her go if she wants to.
Look. It's Leonore. She sees Mary, but why doesn't she try to stop her?
She's the one who doesn't want to be seen. Funny if she had a lover.
A lover? And who could it possibly be? Maybe it's that new professor that just arrived here today.
If it is, I can understand it. He's pretty good looking.
Any man looks good to you.
Told you should never be here at night.
Let me go. Don't touch me, pig. You've gotten your money. Let me go, or tomorrow I'll spill everything. About you and about him. Let me go.
Get easy or you'll be sorry. I want you in one piece.
I came here only because of the promise you made. Leave me alone. I came here because I want something.
What is it you want now? But I've given you everything.
And so who needs it if I have to stay walled in here? Make your promise good to get me out. You wanted a little love on the sly? Then find me a way out of this pig pen tomorrow night. Do you hear? Tomorrow night.
No, Mary. You know very well the court has sentenced you, so only the court can possibly free you, Mary.
My body for a middle-aged oversex phonier. Now you expect to get off the hook. No, you don't.
Aren't you forgetting, Mary, that you have the letters? The letters. When you give them to me, I'll free you.
They're burned. Remember, they're important proof. Very important. So careful.
No, wait. Something can be done. Wait.
You won't keep me waiting. Or tomorrow you're finished at this school.
Mary, wait. Wait. I'll think of something. Sheena. Sheena. Sheena.
You really are corrupt, Alfred.
No. It's not about her again. Not this time. It's now something horrible, Sheena.
I saw. You're a beast, not a man, my dear, so go to the devil.
I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. I'm not with that girl anymore, it's true. She's blackmailing me. The letters. The letters. Yesterday, I wrote a letter to her that can be a disgrace to me.
You're not only thoroughly miserable, Alfred, you're without a doubt a pitiful imbecile.
But I didn't sign them, never. They can't possibly suspect they're mine.
You fool, how far do you think you would go if everyone knew what you really are, Sir Alfred Whiteman?
I know it, Sheena. You're right.
Miss Schultz, is it all right, please, to go in there? I want to see her.
No, it's not possible. Take this, distribute.
In my report from the coroner, he said the girl was assaulted by wolves, and she died as a result of the injuries inflicted.
But she could have had a meeting with a man a little before her death. I don't believe it could have been the wolves.
A girl who wanders out at night into the forest. And, Professor, she was alone, mind you. Not to mention the probable rendezvous with someone could very easily have been attacked by wolves.
Poor girl. It's a terrible disgrace to be destroyed after years of work. I fear that the good name of our institute will be compromised.
We can't be concerned about the Institute's good name in a case like this, sir.
Here's Sir Alfred Whiteman.
Sir Alfred, something horrible has happened.
Sir Alfred, I believe you know this girl.
Yes. Yes. I believe I've seen her, of course, at some time. May I leave now, please? What has occurred has upset me very much. Excuse me.
Sir Alfred, will you join us, sir, for a minute or so, for I have to complete my report. Purely a formality, of course. Sir Alfred. Sir Alfred, if you want to go soon, we can finish in a few minutes. I can sympathize with you, but I can't avoid the formalities.
Of course.
Priscilla, what are you doing here? You'll be late to your next study hall. You must go quickly. Why are you waiting?
I thought I'd forgotten my notebook, Professor. Walter is the director in his office. I have to see him immediately.
Why do you have to see him?
It's personal. It's none of your business.
It would be profitable to get together with me just a little. Give me a chance.
I don't bargain with your kind.
Well, now I'm finished. We'll soften the news in all of the papers as you asked, sir.
You're very generous, Inspector, and I should like to thank you in the name of the Council of the Institute.
It's my pleasure,
Mr.
Sir
Swift,
Alfred.
excuse me.
Yes?
One of the girls would like to speak to you.
Make her wait for me. You shall have no reason to worry. I'll increase the supervision over the girls.
There's no need to change this institute into a prison, or we might as well leave the girls in a state reformatory.
Please don't worry, Sir Alfred. I know well how far I can go. Yes? What can I do for you?
Mr. Swift, I found something of Mary's.
What's that? Sit down. Tell me everything.
This morning by post, there arrived a letter for Mary.
Yes?
I opened it. There were only a few words. Mary is blackmailing someone, and in this letter they're threatening her.
From whom is this letter?
There isn't any name.
Mary and blackmail. May I see the letter?
No, I left it in the dresser in the dormitory.
We shall have to call back the inspector. Tommy, call the inspector and ask him to come over as soon as possible. Perhaps the letter has no connection with the death of Mary. However, we cannot ignore it.
No, no, a blackmailer is not an assassin. They tell me they've legally established that she was torn up by an animal, but we're not very certain you have told us the truth.
The letters are here. I only said that someone was blackmailing Mary.
Let's see them. Well, have they just vanished?
But they were here. I put them here a few minutes ago.
What do you hope to gain with this bad hoax, girl? But let's not waste energy by telling lies and by alarming us. I have fair grounds to arrest you. Excuse me, Director.
You must believe me, Mr. Swift. It was here. Who could have taken it? Whoever did must have known that I left the letter
Don't be
here.
malicious and accuse your companions just because you can't deliver this letter. You are the only one who has seen this letter, and we have to believe your words.
And my report doesn't count at all for you.
It's not for me. It's the police who need the facts. You better return now. I understand that you're upset about the death of your friend. However, I cannot excuse your conduct.
Mary was just assassinated. No one will convince me she was torn up by wolves.
These globules, which are red, are presented in the form of minuscule discs that are biconcave. And there are many of them. There are around 5 million in each millimeter of blood. They're very elastic, possessing the ability of varying their form. Beside elongation, which we discussed earlier...
You can't be certain about that. What connection could he possibly have with the letter?
Through sections of the body which are
He arrived only a few days ago. Possibly he's been living at Brinsville for many months.
Here is the chart representing the body and blood. Good. We'll leave this lesson as it is for today and pick it up on Tuesday. Please go now.
Done.
You aren't coming?
No, I want to speak to the professor.
Okay.
Professor, excuse me.
What do you want, Priscilla?
I want to speak to you a moment.
But of course. Something you need to know?
Have you seen Mary's body?
Yes.
Why didn't I and the other girls get a chance to see it before the burial?
Maybe it's better that you remember her the way you last saw her.
You know the story of the wolves.
What do you mean?
But those scratches, those wounds, were they made by a wolf?
To my knowledge, this has not yet been confirmed. And I don't have any actual reason to doubt it.
Why did you come to instruct here? You're not from Brinsville.
No, from another town. And I didn't choose it, this place. It was my destiny, not my ambition to accept. Wish something else right now?
No, I felt you might know something about the death of Mary, but I see you won't tell me anything.
What are you doing here?
Shh, Sandy, help me. I must open this dresser of Mary's.
But why?
Get a move on. See if you can try to open it.
One key's the same as another. If this one can make it.
Force it. There they are. Take it. Mary, I need you, and you can have anything you want, but I must see you. And please reply very quickly in person. I embrace you, my love. Not even signed. And also this one.
Read it. Read it.
No, no, not yet. No one must ever see this because I know which one murdered Mary. I know the man.
Yes. It's very difficult to understand, but now that you've been with us here for a week, what's your impression?
Well, I don't think these girls are any more difficult than others of their age.
Perhaps you're right, but these have found the bitterness of life much too early.
Yes, I must agree with you, even without knowing them as well as you do. Tell me, that one, for instance. What's she done? Why is she here?
She was convicted of attempted homicide. She was living with that poor Mary in town. One night, a sailor was trying to beat Mary, almost strangled her. Then Priscilla, defending her friend, almost killed the sailor.
Now I understand. That's why the news of Mary's sudden death touched her so deeply.
Yes. As the girls are alone here, a friendship like this can sometimes be their only consolation.
And where's the hard cash?
He'll pay you after. Maybe he'll give you more because he likes you.
I?
Yes, you. I do believe that money makes a person do anything, don't you? It's tough for a girl to resist the fancy notion of cash when she needs it, hmm? Good dog. Stop it. It's a friend. I was expecting you.
Where do we have to go?
You'll see. Are you afraid of the wolves?
No.
Come on, let's go. Watch the house well, Wolf. Quickly, we can't afford to be seen by anybody. Come on, we haven't far to go. only the beasts fighting among themselves, Priscilla. Come on.
Come on. Is this where it was, Walter?
What do you mean?
Is this where they found Mary?
How would I know?
Come on. He's expecting you. Go. Go on, girl, go on. He's waiting for you.
Don't be afraid.
You're Sheena Whiteman.
You expected to find my husband, am I right? Stop it. Take this. This is so you can have a worthwhile reason for coming here. To me, you're another common slut, just like all the others. And as of now, it's finished between you and my husband.
Whiteman. It was your husband. Now it's clear to me.
What's clear to you, you little tart? You're all alike. You're all ready to sell yourselves.
Yes, but not to be killed. Your husband has killed Mary Smith because she received this.
No. My husband is perhaps a philanderer, but he's not an assassin.
Then I'll explain all this to the police.
I warn you, girl, you'd better not be foolish, or I'll be forced to appeal to the dogs.
That wouldn't help you at all. All the other letters are securely hidden, in case they find me like my friend, attacked by the wolves.
Where are the other letters? Do you have them?
Those letters will be delivered to the police. I only want to know who's written them.
Oh, that's the reason you came here.
Yes, that's the reason, even if you don't believe me.
Sit down. I believe you, but also you must listen to me. For a long time, I've been watching my husband. He's a strange man. He's a sadist. Everyone else believes he's a respectable person, and he's not even faithful. It's true. It's true the other night he had an appointment with that Mary. I followed him, intending to interrupt them and put an end to it once and for all. They met each other, and when Alfred left her, I know that girl was alive, still living. But suddenly, there occurred something horrible. It wasn't my husband who killed your friend, and it was not the wolves. There was a moon. I saw that the assassin didn't run away immediately. He remained in almost a contortion for some moments on the bridge before going, and it was then that I was able to recognize him.
Who's there?
Where?
Over there. There was someone at the window.
Oh, it was that caretaker who brought you here.
Who do you say is the murderer?
I don't want to tell you. Not now, anyway. It's better that you keep your nose out of this filthy mess. The letters and all the rest. Also that poor girl. Her name would be covered with mud. Let her rest in peace.
But she was assassinated.
Another dirty scandal would be the final ruin of us all, and certainly wouldn't bring back to life your Mary.
Do you still love your husband?
Yes.
To the point of killing one of his lovers?
I? Why? What sort of a person do you think I am?
The dogs. You didn't say anything to them. If they'd find me killed by them, they'd believe it was the wolves.
You are really stupid. I've been foolish to confide in you.
Calm down. What are you doing here at this hour?
Maybe I should ask you the same thing.
But I can respond to that. I'm fixing traps to free the forest from the wolves.
In a certain sense, we were doing the same thing.
What do you have to tell?
Oh, nothing. Were you the one that was following me, Professor?
No. Absolutely. Why?
I don't know. It seemed like someone was following me.
Come on, I think I'd better go back with you to the Institute.
I'm certainly safer going with you than going alone.
Priscilla, I'm sorry, but I have to make a report. You were told not to come here.
Make it. You don't have to worry about me.
You're a strange girl.
Is that a compliment?
Oh, perhaps. You're too pessimistic. Even if life is hard, it's worthwhile living it. You must believe in something. Don't be afraid. It's only a wolf that must have just fallen into one of my traps.
You have to go?
Yes. Excuse me, it's really necessary. You know, the wolves know how to free themselves and escape with a broken foot.
Oh. Don't be worried. I'm almost there already. Professor?
Yes?
The report?
Don't worry about it. I won't say anything to anybody about it this time. I won't even ask you what you were doing out at this hour. You see, I have faith in you.
Thank you.
Priscilla.
Professor? Is it you?
Sheena was all to me. A companion both good and kind and devoted.
Seems she was attacked by a monster, one of the girls from the Institute, and she was saved by a dog.
One of the girls saw this. She said his right arm was torn open by the dog.
The police have to inspect each and every man in these...
Absolutely.
The police are asleep here. We'll have to try and find it ourselves.
Certainly. Brownsville will not lay down.
We'll find him.
Yes, we'd better act before he strikes again. We don't want him to get hold of one of our children.
The sheriff. Okay, talk.
She's still in the infirmary. The dresser we didn't find anything.
You must. You have to find them. If I don't recover those letters, I cannot rest.
Look at that man. His right arm isn't functioning.
He's the caretaker of the Institute.
Sir Alfred. The girl was attacked right in the vicinity of the guardhouse.
Certainly it's him. Come on, what are we waiting for?
Careful. Don't move.
He mustn't get out of here. He must account for what he has done.
Stop it! You're all going mad. Let go of that knife. Walter, Nobody's going to do you any harm. Now let him pass through.
The man's hand. Look, men. Look at his hand.
This man has no scar on his hand. His hand has been like this since he was born. Now we're leaving. Step aside. Come on.
Come on, go on and sit down. Nothing is happening. Get going, boys.
What were you doing with Sir Alfred?
Nothing, Dr. Sweat. Why?
Return to the Institute. These people could do you great harm.
Yes, sir.
But why are you crying, hmm? It's all in the past now. Calm yourself. Here you are protected.
Yes, yes. But it isn't that.
And what is all this?
Sheena Whiteman.
Sheena? Is this what's troubling you? Tell me why. You must have faith in me, Priscilla. You know that you can trust me.
Finally. They wouldn't even let me in here. They told me I mustn't stay long. Oh, excuse me. I'm not disturbing you.
No. I was just telling the professor how very pleased I am to see him.
Priscilla.
But at this point, it's better to say it all. Right, Professor?
Sir Alfred, we've been risking our reputation for him. Just what am I to do? This whole story repulses me.
In saving him, you saved the reputation of the Institute.
Come in. Sandy, what is it?
I must speak to you. It's something terrible.
Well, what is it? So speak.
I know who the monster is.
What's that?
Julian Alcott, the professor of science. He's a badly damaged arm.
This is not enough proof to even mention.
Mary was murdered the night of his arrival. It's him, and he's in the infirmary with Priscilla talking to...
Don't call Professor Alcott now, and don't tell anyone what you just said to me.
But I...
Listen, if your suspicions are correct, I shall call the police. Now go ahead. Tommy, call Professor Alcott immediately.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Yes. What, in your opinion, happened in the woods?
Well, I believe it has to do with a lycanthropus.
In other words, a sort of werewolf.
Exactly.
Please explain this to me further.
What is this? An interrogation?
Better to tell me than the police, don't you think?
Yes, of course. Well, you know of my career as a doctor. It was terminated by a tragic incident. I was working for Dr. Benson at the mental hospital for the criminally insane. There was a girl. She was accused of homicide. But the poor girl could not absolutely recall killing anyone. She seemed perfectly normal. I must add, I was in love with her.
Continue, please.
In a full moon, she would behave in a very strange way. She would lose complete control of herself and transform absolutely. And her face was like a beast's. Professionally, I wanted to try to help her. And after a certain time, I discovered a temporary antidote. And it's so difficult, actually, without my using the medical terms to explain
I've
this
always
to
been
you.
interested in medicine, and I think I could follow you.
The pituitary gland controls the function of the hormones, influencing the sexual organs and the thyroid. And as a direct reaction, it can cause a psychophysical transformation. My colleagues refuted this theory of mine, and I had proven it unequivocally. For example, at every lunar cycle, the pituitary gland acts strangely and becomes enlarged at the start of the transformation. Our psychocontrols upset the balance of the neuroglandular system, causing incredible distortions in the skin, hair, and teeth. In this state, the patient cannot be saved. I was successful with the extract of the brain of a wolf while I was experimenting on her. One night, she gave herself an overdose. Perhaps I made it too strong. And the police then accused me of killing her. Do you want to know more?
In observing the body of Mary, did you feel the crime was committed by lycanthropus?
Yes. I'm almost sure about it. I continued my studies in this matter.
And this led you to other discoveries. Is it possible to rid yourself completely?
I don't know. But that's not of importance anymore. Since I've been here, I've been trying to capture a wolf to extract his glands.
They're not rare in our forests. But tell me, Professor, have you ever experimented on yourself?
Once. I had to find out what it would be like for a normal human being. It was impossible to observe myself.
Would you mind showing me your right arm?
No, of course not. Yes, it's hurt. But I did not attack Priscilla.
A strange coincidence, don't you think? Before you arrived, there never was any talk about monsters in this town.
Then you think that I'm...
Professor, you said yourself that a person can be completely out of control during a crisis. How much does he remember afterwards?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even one sign remains of it. I assure you that this is what happens. Anyway, I must assure you of one thing. I hurt myself accidentally.
Professor, I want to believe every word of it, though it may not appear that way. But I advise you, however, to take great care. Perhaps you had better discontinue your experiment.
Absolutely not. But I can't. The life of a human being may depend on it.
And who might this be?
I don't know. You asked me to tell you about a lycanthropus. His sickness must have satisfaction. In the next transformation, he'll try again.
And you believe that if you manage to find a definite antidote, you'll probably save the life of that person. Then you know who the attacker is.
Well, if I should discover an antidote, I'm sure that this person would certainly want to be helped.
Sick or not, Professor, he'll be obliged to give himself up.
I'm a doctor. It's not fair to treat a lycanthropus like a murderer. If ever I'm successful in finding a cure, these poor victims could possibly begin to lead a normal life, like others.
Perhaps you're right, if you think murder won't bother his conscience.
If you should ever find out that I am the monster, I should like to be treated the same as you would like to be.
I understand you perfectly.
that this means to...
He tried to kill one of the girls, and he sped up the tower stairs.
Huh? That's impossible. Look there!
Where?
At the top of the stairs!
Walter, stop, or I'll shoot!
Girls, go back to the dormitory. This is nothing for you to see.
I said stop, or I'll shoot!
Well?
There's nothing more to do.
He was the monster. He tried to kill Sandy.
Enough of that. Miss Leonora, get them all inside.
Go on, girls. Enough now. Go on inside.
Was he the monster?
Perhaps the monster never existed. Walter smothered the girl. Now, please, go on, Tommy.
I'm going to call the police.
All right.
Professor,
Priscilla.
what's happened?
Priscilla. It's terrible. Walter killed himself.
No.
It's true. We caught him by surprise fleeing from the dormitory. After he tried to kill one of the girls. Sandy.
Sandy?
Yes.
So Walter was the monster.
No. He couldn't be the monster.
But why not?
Because Walter had a dog. And dogs can't stand the odor of wolves.
This is appalling, Sir Alfred.
Yes. It's like a compulsion I have here inside of me. And why am I like this? I don't know why. But I've never killed anybody. I've always paid. I've always paid for everything.
Those that seem the best sometimes commit the worst. You know you've killed Walter.
No. I only asked him to find the letters. I didn't know he'd be foolish enough to risk his life. You must help me.
By helping you, Miss Leonora and I were almost involved in this dirty scandal. If Miss Leonora and I had not discovered the letters, you would be in jail.
I'm innocent. If only Sheena was still alive.
But why?
Because Sheena, that night, when Mary was killed, she followed me. She saw who it was.
Don't invent these absurd stories. There's no need for it. I have no intention of denouncing you.
I haven't had a moment of peace since Sheena died. It's as if I had killed her with my own hands. If only I had the courage to kill myself. But Sheena knew. She knew.
If she knew, why didn't she speak up?
I don't know. Maybe she kept silent to blackmail me. She said that with one word, she could send me to the gallows.
Even the death of your own wife looks strange in the light of this story.
Strange? You think that I...
I'm not thinking anything. What are you going to do?
What will you do? If you destroy me, you destroy yourself as well.
Go, Sir Alfred.
Why didn't you tell me about Sir Alfred?
Because I was afraid. I don't know much about you, Julian. You continue to have secrets. Julian, I know you're a medical doctor.
Ah. Well, then. You must also know that I'm a failure.
Julian, is one mistake really so bad?
Oh, no. But it's a battle, Priscilla. One cannot forget the past when it keeps following you. All right, let's go. There are more important things to be done now. Excuse us, Sir Alfred, but it's very important that we see you.
I'm sorry, but I don't have a lot of time to give you. Please.
Sir Alfred, I have a very delicate question to ask you. Let me assure you, I will tell no one of this visit.
But I don't understand, Professor Alfred. I have nothing to hide.
You're in bad trouble because of your relations with Mary Smith.
How dare you, sir?
The letters. Sir Alfred, that is not the point. I want to know exactly what happened that night you met with Mary in the woods.
Professor, are you accusing me? Do you have any proof?
I didn't say that. But I wondered if you'd come with me to the police.
The police?
Yes. I don't doubt your innocence. But there are some facts that have to be cleared up.
I don't have to defend myself. You're crazy if you think that
You
I
must
had...
believe me, don't worry. We don't want a scandal. I know. The facts are all against you right now. But if you have nothing to hide, why are you afraid?
All right. Perhaps I was wrong. So we had a relationship, but that's all there was to it. There's no reason to believe that I would murder her. Excuse me, will you, woman, please? I'll go get the letters, and you can see for yourself.
about him?
It's a possibility.
Leonore. Leonore. My poor Leonore.
It's necessary to have a second injection.
I know.
Oh, darling, please, let us finish the cure now.
No. Better that you leave me like this. I wish that you hadn't been late that night.
I arrived too late. Probably at that moment, Mary was escaping in the woods and might well have seen me come here.
Don't have remorse now.
You don't know what I've done.
Leonore, you're thinking about Sheena Whiteman.
How did you know that?
Sir Alfred told me that Sheena knew who Mary's murderer was.
I was so frightened. Sheena and Priscilla saw each other in the forest. I saw it through the window. Sheena must have seen you kill Mary that night. You must know I was forced to do it.
And she recognized me.
Yes,
Oh, all the bad I've done.
but we must fight back to save you, because without you, I don't exist.
Leonore, the second injection. You know I'm not a murderer.
Watch out! Leonore! Get away from her! Get away from her! Leonore! I can't help you, Leonore! Get away from her, you filthy beast! Get away! Get away from her! Leonore! I can't help you! Get away! Leonore! Leonore! My darling!
The key, Leonore.
I'll kill you! Don't get away from me. You've killed my Leonore. I'm gonna beat your brains out. I'll kill you! I'll kill you! Oh, murdering dog! I'll kill you! Kill! I'll kill you!
You must have known it was Walter. You were with him that night in the guardhouse.
So what?
And now? Listen to that story. Tell us, Percy, is it because you're making time with the professor that you're being so very uppity about it?
Don't listen to her, please.
Miss Leonore will not be with you this morning. She had to leave for reasons of her own. You may stay in the park this morning, and tomorrow you'll attend the funeral of Walter. Silence! You have no right to judge others, much less when they are dead. Judgment is for God alone.
Be calm. After all, he got what he deserved.
No! Get away! Get away from here!
Get back here! Wolf!
The death of his master might have affected him. A beast sometimes is especially sensitive.
It's true. Perhaps he feels guilty of Walter's death. I'm going now.
Leave me alone. Wolf, where are you taking me? What are you looking for?
What are you doing here?
There. Over in the woods. It's terrible. It's
What's
terrible.
happened? What have you seen?
I've seen a corpse. It's Walter.
What are you saying to me? You're imagining things.
No, I've seen it. It's not my imagination. The dog led me to it. Wolf.
A dog?
I followed him and he took me into the woods. At a certain place he began to dig and uncovered something. It was Walter.
You're still in shock from that night. Come inside. I'll get you something to drink. All right, I'll go and phone the police. But if we find nothing again this time, come in.
But if the body of Walter is buried in the woods, who could be buried in the cemetery? Mr. Swift? Mr. Swift, what are you doing? Can't you hear me?
Leonore. I've killed again.
You haven't killed Priscilla. I shot you. I had to.
It's better this way. Without Leonore, I don't want to live. She was with me always. She tried her best. But it's no use now. I murdered Mary Smith in the woods.
Don't excite
I went out and killed her. I don't remember. I hoped it could be cured. I followed your research. I begged Benson to send you. Leonore is in Walter's grave. Is she we buried in the cemetery? May God forgive me.
Well, now it's finished.
The moon. It was a nightmare for me.
I know. Now the nightmare is past.
Did he come back?
He's down in the lab now. I locked the door. You'd better take this with you.
I thought he'd come back. He's like an animal now. He comes back to where he was fed the last time. But he never should have gotten out in the first place. He visited a house in the village last night. It's not easy to keep a thing like that from attracting too much attention. I'm afraid there's only one thing to do with Kenji now. Be quiet, Emiko. I can't let you out of there. I was careless with Kenji, and look what happened. You don't understand me anymore, do you? I'm sorry, Emiko. Kenji, get back! You've changed even more, haven't you? Back, Kenji. Back. I don't suppose you understand me now any more than she does. You were my brother. You're an experiment that didn't work out. I'm sorry, Kenji.
Seems silly to ask if this is Dr. Robert Suzuki's place. It's the only place around here.
I'm afraid you can't see the doctor now.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I've come all the way from Tokyo and halfway up the mountainside in a taxi they saved from the Ark, and then by making like a mountain goat for the last few hundred yards. Where's the good doctor?
Are you the man for World Press?
That's right. Larry Stanford, the brilliant and highly underpaid foreign correspondent. Tell you the truth, from what my boss says, I don't think there's much of a story here, but if there is, I want to get it.
Perhaps the doctor can give you a few minutes. I'll tell if you're here. Please come in.
Mr. Stanford, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. I'd forgotten about your appointment. As a matter of fact, your chief, Mr. Matthews, more or less pushed me into it over the phone. I'm not sure my work is ready for publicity yet.
Well, from what the boss said, I gather you're working on the secrets of evolution or something like that. Sounds great, but will it sell newspapers?
I'm a theoretical scientist. Most of my work is done on paper.
Have you got anything ready for publication yet, Doc?
Not yet. I can only tell you this. Look into the sky at night, and you will see a star maybe 1 billion light years away. The light that you see started from that star, even before this world existed. That's my work, the principles of existence. But sometimes it frightens me.
Good. And maybe we got a story. One more good one before I leave Japan.
Oh? Are you leaving?
Yeah, after this assignment. This globe-trotting is getting me down. Besides, I have a wife in New York that I haven't seen for a long time. Far too long.
How old are you, Mr. Stanford?
35.
Forgive me. I ask personal questions sometimes. It's the scientist in me. I'm interested in the way people develop. The glandular type and so on. May I ask a few more questions?
Well, I'm supposed to be the interviewer, but if you want to, go ahead.
You look like a strong man. Have you ever had any major illnesses?
Well, it sounds like the Army all over again. Nothing worse than chickenpox.
And in this time you've been separated from your wife, have you been, that is to say, have you had any other kind of companionship?
Well, I've been a good boy, if that's what you mean, Doc, but now maybe we are getting just a little personal.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to hear about my work, don't you? All right. Could you use a little refreshment while we're talking?
As long as it's daytime size. Scotch?
A local version of it.
I thought it tasted different. Well, Doc, what's the story?
Well, Mr. Stanford, are you familiar with the latest thinking about cosmic rays and evolution?
Oh, vaguely. The rays come out of space, and every 1,000 years or so, they cause a mutation, cause some animal to give birth to a slightly different species. Is that right?
That'll do. Now you can understand what I mean when I tell you that I have a theory as to the cause of this change in species, this mutation. I believe it can be done. Not with radiation, Mr. Stanford, but chemically. I've tried a few experiments with plants and fungus.
You got any samples?
Unfortunately, nothing I can show, only theoretical records. But I don't think they make sense to you.
Well, it sounds great in scientific circles, Doc, but it's not exactly what I'd call front page stuff. Hey, you know, it's kind of stuffy in here.
It's the heat from the mountain. I use it sometimes for experiments. Will you excuse me, Mr. Stanford? I'll go down to the lab and bring you up some photos of my fungus experiments.
Really?
They might prove interesting to you.
I'd appreciate that.
Robert, are you sure what you're doing is absolutely right?
Right? Don't you see him? He's perfect for it. Besides, I've changed the enzyme. It's got to work this time. A physical and a psychological change. We'll keep records on every move he makes.
That's not what I mean. Do you have the right to do this to him? After all, the others were different. They volunteered.
But Tara, he's exactly the type I need. This is for science, for human knowledge. What happens to one man doesn't make any difference. You didn't seem to care for the others, Tara.
I forgot how to care about anybody a long time ago. You ought to know that.
Good. Keep it that way.
Oh, hello, Doc. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I just couldn't keep my eyes open.
Oh, I feel that way myself many times up here.
Seem to have collected myself a kink in the neck, too.
These are the pictures I thought you might be interested in.
Well, I'll take those back to Tokyo with me, if you don't mind, Doc.
Oh, by all means. How about one for the road?
That's not a bad idea. Might wake me up.
I'll be coming down to Tokyo very shortly. We must get together there. I could use a little vacation from my work.
Sure, that'd be fine.
Here's the morning report for you.
Thanks.
I'm forced to agree with you, Larry. Not much to this Dr. Suzuki report. I understand he's independently wealthy, one of these wealthy crackpots.
Oh, he's not such a bad guy. He serves lousy whiskey, though. Gave me a hangover on 2 of them. As a matter of fact, he phoned up this morning, said he was coming to Tokyo. Wants to take me out on some fancy dinner or something.
Geisha party?
Who knows? Anyway, I'm just filling in time till I head for New York and Linda. This globetrotting almost broke us up.
By the way, Larry, you're going to be here a few days. I've got a report here on some smuggling going on down in Hong Kong. I wonder if you could hop a plane and go down there.
No dice, Ian. You pulled this one more story routine on me once too often. This time I'm going home. I'll tell you what you can do with that report.
What's that?
Make a paper airplane out of it and sail it out the window.
Matthews? Oh, yes. Just a moment. Larry, it's for you. New York. Can't imagine who it might be.
Okay, I'll take it over here. And how about some privacy? Put that call through here.
Oh, darling, it's wonderful to hear your voice. What? Oh, everything's all right. I just wanted to hear you. When are you coming home, Larry?
Just a few more days, darling. Lots of paperwork and stuff. You know how it is. After that, no more traveling. We can make a real start all over again. Huh? I love you too, darling. But how do you know you love me? I might not be the same person.
I'm sure you're the same, darling. I haven't changed either. I've been thinking about you all the time. I've got a picture of you in my mind. It's a nice picture, but it's not the same as the real thing.
Well, it won't be long now, darling. I'll be thinking of you all the time. We're going to some kind of a party tonight. I'll pretend you're along.
Well, have a good time, Larry.
Larry, as they say in Japan, kampai.
As we say in America, bottoms up. You know, Doc, I don't know which I like better. Japanese sake or Japanese geisha?
What's the difference? Plenty of both here.
No, seriously, Doc. I've never had time before to do this sort of thing. You no idea how stuffy these political interviews and press conferences can be.
With so little time left, please, let me be your host and let me show you things you have never seen before in Japan. I've been working rather hard myself lately. Larry, I like you, and I'd like to show you more of Japan.
Doc, you've got yourself a deal. Kampai.
Bottoms up.
Hey, Doc. Tell her it's an old American custom called smooch, And tell her she smooches good.
Oh, I don't
Now, I haven't finished yet. Tell her she smooches good. And tell her I like to give her some advanced lessons,
I don't have to tell her anything, Larry. I think she understands you very well.
Maybe, but let's find out. Hey, listen, girls, I think you're all very beautiful. Very beautiful. But I got a special thing. All right, Ian, I'm a week overdue in New York, and I've been like this for 3 days. Let's have the sermon and get it over with.
You know me better than that, Larry. Your wife called again.
So she called, so what?
Look, it's really none of my business, but you were supposed to be home by now.
Listen to me, Ian. I've been working very hard for a good many years, and now I'm supposed to go back and change myself to a desk in the New York office. Okay, if that's the way it's gotta be, it's gotta be. But before I go, I'm gonna do some of the things I never had a chance to do before. This guy Suzuki just came into my life in time. Well, that reminds me, I got a train to catch. He's taking me to a Hot Springs hotel.
And Linda?
You already said it, Ian. It's none of your business.
How about a little second before a bath?
Suits me.
Doうもありがとう. The bath's ready now. Larry, you're about to experience one of my country's greatest treasures. Hot mineral water from deep in the earth. It has wonderful effects and sometimes strange effects.
Well, I've had hot baths before, but never in such fancy surroundings. You know, Doc, it's amazing what I never got to see and do in this country all the time I've been here. I didn't realize what fun I was missing. Still, I'll have to leave sometime.
Yes, I know. Oh, I have another surprise for you.
Oh, what's that?
Do you remember my assistant, Tara? You met her at the lab. She happens to be here at the hotel. I think you'll find her especially interesting.
Why especially?
Her talent. She is, first of all, an exceptionally beautiful woman. She's been to nearly any country you can name. She's intelligent, affectionate, and, well, how shall I say it? Not unwilling to have a little adventure now and then.
Sounds too good to be true. Tell me, when do I meet this lovely mythical creature again?
Why not now?
I'm sure you two remember each other.
Well, hello again. Well, say, I guess we must have your bath here. You go ahead, we'll wait.
Why wait? I can see you're not familiar with Japanese customs, Mr. Stanford.
You mean everybody? Together? Same bath? Well.
Larry, just remember something. I promised to make a phone call to Tokyo. Very important. I wonder if you two will excuse me.
With pleasure. Well?
Follow me.
Well, now I've seen everything, or I'm about to.
There are 2 baths, Mr. Stanford. One for you and one for me.
I see. What's this, the Wall of Jericho?
We operate on the honor system here.
You mean this is the Japanese equivalent of a bungling bar?
Well, it keeps us apart, but not too far apart.
The doctor tells me these are mineral baths and good for me. Hope he's right.
How do you like it, Mr. Stanford?
My name is Larry. I think it's great. Having a wonderful time. Wish you were here.
Well, I'm not very far. Tell me more about yourself.
Well, not very much to tell. I've worked pretty hard all my life, and now I'm just starting to enjoy myself. How about you? Where are you from? You speak English beautifully.
I speak many languages. Is the water hot enough for you?
Yeah, plenty hot.
The real Japanese bath should be as hot as you can take it. That way you get the benefit of the minerals in the water.
I seem to be getting some sort of benefit right now.
the matter, Larry?
Yeah, I've had enough. I'm getting out. It's a great little song, a great little country. Hey, now I'm going to show you where I live. Can you mix a martini?
What is that?
That's a musical martini. Yum-da-da-dee, yum-da-da-dee, yum-da-da, 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 yum-da-da-da-da.
Hello, Larry.
Well, this is quite a surprise.
I think I'd better go.
I think you'd better stay. We've all got some things to talk about.
Anybody mind if I fix myself a drink? You know, Ian, there's a name for a guy who'll pull a trick like this.
Ian had nothing to do with it. I dragged him here. I flew in today, Larry. I couldn't stand it any longer. Ian wouldn't tell me a thing, but it wasn't hard to guess that you'd found company.
Sorry, Larry.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's not draw this one out. Let's make it front page, top banner line now. So you found out, so what?
Darling, I came here so's I could see you. So's you could see me. I don't want things to go on this way, Larry. You've got to make a choice right now. The girlfriend or me.
Tara, I don't think we're wanted here. Let's go someplace and finish the evening.
Good night, Mrs. Stanford.
Larry, I'll wait here till midnight, then I'm leaving. The choice is yours.
I made my choice.
Oh, Ian. Ian, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Fight. That's all you can do.
I want to fight Ian, but he's changed. He's so different.
There's still hope.
Look, I'll wait here till midnight. I could talk to him alone. If he's not back, I'll go to the hotel.
And then?
And then I've lost the battle. What else can I do?
You want me to stay here for a while?
No. No, please go. I've got to work this out for myself.
Good luck, Linda.
Thanks, Ian.
Hey, how about that? You know, Tara, I figured you'd live in a place like this. It fits you. It's beautiful.
Larry, why did you come with me tonight? Why did you make that choice?
I'll tell you the truth, Tara. It's you I want. I feel comfortable with you. Something strange has been happening to me lately. I can't explain it. You're the only one that seems to understand. Don't ever leave me.
No, Larry, not this way.
What do you mean, not this way?
When I belong to a man, no one else does. If it can't be that way, then I don't want him.
You're thinking about Linda?
Yes. She's not going to give up so easily, Larry. I know how a woman thinks. If I'm not mistaken, she's waiting for you at your apartment right now.
She said she'd leave if I didn't come back.
That won't settle it. You must go and tell her it's finished. It would be best that way.
You wait for me here?
I'll wait for you to come back. If you come back.
Go, Linda. Go home.
Harry, what's the matter? What is it? Can I help you?
Nothing's the matter. I don't need any help. I just want you to leave.
I know I shouldn't have stayed here, but I couldn't give up that easily.
Give up what? What we never had? You've been here all this time, you know. I've asked you to join me overseas more than once.
Larry, what sort of a life is that? Living in hotels, places not even on the map, picking up and moving every time there's a new war or revolution?
You married me. You knew I was a foreign correspondent.
Yes, I know, but I figured one day you could settle down.
Settle down, that's a good way to put it. Settle down like mud in a pool. Bridge on Wednesdays, cocktail Thursdays, PTA Fridays.
But you know
I can't give you this kind of stuff, Linda. Go home and find someone else.
Larry, what's happened to you?
I don't know, Linda. I just want you to let me alone, that's all. Just leave me alone. Go away.
I won't let you alone, Larry. I'm fighting for something that belongs to you and me. I don't know how it happened, and it won't last. This woman, she's got you all mixed up so you can't think straight. I don't know how it started. Maybe a weak moment.
Weak?
Maybe you...
You think I'm weak? Do you think I covered all those wars and revolutions because I was weak? Or maybe it's because I never put you in your place before, never slapped you down when you needed it.
Harry, what's gotten into you?
Nothing's gotten into me! I just became my real self for once, that's all. Nobody's gonna tie me down anymore. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do.
I heard you singing. I don't know why I came in. I was just passing by. I guess you don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's just as well. Makes it easier to talk. I've got to talk to someone. I've got to get it out of me. Got to get it out of me.
I thought you weren't coming back. You were a long time.
I told you. After Linda left, I went out for a walk.
Where did you go?
I don't know. Fix me another drink, will you? It was like a dream, sort of nightmare. Only I don't know where the dream stopped and the real thing began. I came to a temple, I remember that. And then I was walking, just walking.
Does your hand hurt? Those prayer beads, where did you get them?
I don't know, picked them up someplace. I can't remember. I have a feeling I don't want to remember. I want to forget.
That's something I can do. Help you forget.
I like everything about this place, but the music. Well, maybe I'm getting a little senile.
You're as young as you ever were, Ian, and as kind. It's sweet of you to bring me here. No, I was getting a bit lonely. It's an understatement. I was getting ready to scream.
Linda, I asked you here because I want to talk to you about Larry. What the devil's gotten into him lately?
I don't know. Maybe it's what you just said. The devil's gotten into him.
He used to be a good reporter, Linda. Oh, reliable. Now when I want him, I can hardly find him. And when I do, I can't seem to break through to him. You say hello, and he starts an argument. I've never seen anyone change so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem the same person.
What are you gonna do? You can't stay here in Tokyo forever and watch Larry go to pieces like this.
I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, Ian. But I'm sure of one thing. I still love Larry, and I'm not gonna run away. Guess I'll just have to stick around for a while and hope.
Well, I knew if I kept looking, I'd find you.
All right, you found me. Now what?
We've got a pretty big story to cover this morning. What's the matter with your hand?
I burned it.
When are you coming back to work, Larry?
Seems to me I got some vacation due.
Yes, you have, but you're still being carried in my books. I think I have a right to know what your plans are.
Plans? Who has any plans? Well, Ian, do me a favor. If you're not drinking, leave me alone, will you?
I was about to. I've got an office to take care of, you know. But I have a suggestion. How about tonight? You and I used to go on some pretty good binges together.
Not tonight.
Look, Larry. Confession's good for the soul and all that. Are you sure there isn't something you'd like to tell me?
You're pressing your luck, Ian.
All right, Larry, all right. Whenever what's eating you stops eating, you've got a job waiting. But remember this, it can't wait forever. Where'd you get those?
Get what?
Those.
I don't know, picked them up somewhere.
They're Buddhist prayer beads.
You don't say.
Well, I just thought it odd you had them. They're common around here, but I've never seen you with anything like that before.
There must be a lot of things you've never seen, Ian.
Yes. The Buddhist prayer beads.
As a matter of fact, I talked to quite a few Buddhists recently. I found out one very good thing about them.
What's that?
They mind their own business.
All right, Larry.
Look at that, Tara. There's a definite cycle. That proves another theory of mine. The change doesn't come all at once. Larry Stanford right now is going through the metamorphosis. This is his old self here at the bottom of each curve. And this is his new self. Actually a different species of man at the top. But notice how the waves are rising. Before long, he'll be entirely on the top. Entirely a new being.
Robert, I don't like it.
That's your privilege. Not everyone's interested in mutation.
That's not what I mean. I don't like what I'm doing. I know you had to keep him in Tokyo, and at first I didn't care. Any emotion I ever had was killed in me a long time ago. But maybe I've just a little left, and I don't like watching it happen to him.
Are you falling in love with him, Tara?
I don't think I'm able to fall in love. You don't have any illusions about us, do you? You know where you found me. And you know what happens to me if I have to go back there. That's the only reason I stayed with you, Robert. Can I make it any clearer than that?
Look at her, Tara. Take another look at Emiko. You knew her, Tara, when she was, oh, what shall we say? When she was an ordinary woman. Not a bad-looking woman. Remember? Can you hear me, Emiko? Can you understand what I'm saying? You think I'm heartless, don't you, Tara? You like to pretend to be a woman without a soul. But these things really bother you, don't they? I think you forget that Emiko was my first human experiment. That she begged me to try the enzyme out on her. And when I wouldn't, she took it herself. And you forget that my brother Kenji volunteered after I gave him full warning.
I know all that. Is that supposed to excuse you?
I don't have to make excuses to anyone, Tara. I'm just trying to remind you of something. Your very good friend, Larry Stanford, is going to change completely. Nothing can stop that now. I might be able to separate his new self, but I'm not going to take that chance. Do you know what that means, Tara? It means when he changes, he'll be an alien thing, a species that's never walked this earth before. Do you think they'll let a thing like that live? Do you think anybody will? Think it over, Tara. Ask yourself if you can afford to fall in love with a monster like Emiko, the woman who used to be my wife.
Come in. Hello, Larry. I'm glad we found you in.
Any reason why you wouldn't?
Put out the sputtering fuse, will you? Are you going to ask us in?
All right, come in. You know where the drinks are.
This is my friend, Dr. Jensen, Larry. I happened to be with him tonight and asked him to come along. Hope you don't mind.
Why should I? Hi, Doc.
How do you do?
Larry, I think you can guess why I want to talk to you. I think you know your behavior lately has not been exactly like your old self.
Now listen to me.
Now
Ian,
wait
if
a
you-
minute. Don't blow your cork. I've got a couple of questions I mean to ask, whether they're my business or not.
All right, go ahead and ask him.
First question. Do you remember when I saw you in a bar after that old Buddhist priest was murdered? You had a string of Buddhist prayer beads with you, and you never did say why. Now, I suppose this is far-fetched, but I couldn't help feeling there was a connection. Now, tell me the truth, Larry. Did you accidentally see the murder or something like that? Did it set you off, put you in that rotten mood?
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth, Ian. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Second question. Do you realize that your behavior lately has had every aspect of a man flipping his lid?
What are you trying to say, Ian?
Larry, Dr. Jensen is a psychiatrist, the best in Tokyo. That's why I brought him. I'd like you to let him talk to you. World Press will pick up the bill.
So you're a witch doctor, eh?
Well, some people do call us that. I can see right now that your case would be most interesting. Here's my card. What about an appointment tomorrow morning, say 10 o'clock?
Get out of here, both of you. Doc, you go and rattle your bones somewhere else. I look after my own problems.
No, we
You
don't.
shut up and get out of here. Just let me alone, that's all. Get out. Just let me alone, that's all. Just let me alone. Let me alone!
Police? This is Dr. Jensen. Akasaka 5, Shomei 132. Please send police here immediately. This is urgent.
All right, fellas, go on back to the office and write this up. I'll see you in about a half an hour. I'm afraid I've got a personal interest in this one, Superintendent. I knew Dr. Jensen very well.
Mr. Matthews, I'm going to ask a favor. I wish you wouldn't print this story just yet.
Not print it now. Wait a minute. Dr. Jensen was internationally known. This is news.
Mr. Matthews, there's a killer loose in Tokyo, the worst known in 30 years, and I've got to stop him. Now, so far, we've reported every murder he's committed.
This time I want to throw him off guard. Perhaps he'll wonder why it wasn't reported. Perhaps he'll come back.
When you say don't print this story, you're asking quite a bit. I have responsibility to my readers, you know.
You also have one to your friend, Dr. Jensen. Believe me, Mr. Matthews, I'm determined to catch this murderer. I have to answer to my own superiors, and if I don't catch him, I'll be obliged to resign.
Well, I'll hold off for the time being, but you can't keep a thing like this quiet for long.
Tomorrow, there'll be a press conference in my office at 5 o'clock. I'll try to have something more definite for you by then.
All right, and perhaps by that time, I'll have something for you. Larry? Larry, are you here? Larry? You must be the cleaning woman. Come inside. Tell us all.
Gentlemen, the killings have been at these places. Usually we get a pattern from something like this, but not this time. He seems to strike blindly, without reason.
That's a very impressive map, Superintendent. But just exactly what are you doing about these murders?
Well, we've doubled the police on duty, and every officer carries extra arms. And we've deployed our men so that reinforcements are always nearby.
I'd like to know, sir, when do you expect to catch the killer?
I'm sorry, I don't know. If we could find a pattern, I might be able to estimate. But this killer, well, he doesn't even seem to be human. Any more questions, gentlemen?
Is that all you've got for us?
That's all I have right now.
Well, thanks, Superintendent. The next time you call us in, I hope you've got more of a story.
Well, Mr. Matthews, I suppose you're not satisfied either.
Superintendent, I've come to a decision. Not an easy one. But I'm thinking of your men out there and all the others who may shortly find themselves victims.
Yes?
I'm afraid I have something very important to tell you.
Yes, it does look bad. But still, you can never tell about evidence. It can be very deceiving. Hi. Soka. Well, he's killed someone else. This time one of my policemen.
Are you sure it was the same killer?
No doubt. And he got away again.
I just can't believe it was Larry.
Well, whether we're sure of it or not, Mr. Matthews, the time has come to take some precautions.
Pick up Larry?
Yes, if we can find him.
Well, he's bound to return to his apartment sooner or later. I suppose you can put a stakeout on it.
I'm going to handle this personally, and I'd like you to come along.
Larry? Larry!
There he goes! Yamara, sweet koi. Okanemono, shitari ke. What happened? He got away.
I think I know where he's going, to Tara's. Follow me.
Right. Well, it's fortunate she wasn't here. But I wonder where she went to. He's going to try and get her.
Still looking for that pattern, Superintendent?
No, I'm afraid I'm just trusting to luck now.
Superintendent,
Yes.
when you find him, will you remember that something's happened to him? Something he can't control. I know, Larry.
Are you asking me not to shoot to kill?
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Stanford. I can't promise anything right now. Hi. Oh, wakarimasu.
He's been sighted at the shipyards.
Come on.
There he goes! Try not to shoot! Take him alive!
Don't let him. We better wait here. Well, between this and heat treatment, there's a chance. I'm not sure, but there's bound to be some sort of change.
If he comes back.
He'll be here. Kenji came back, remember? At the risk of being over-poetic, let me put it this way. He was conceived in the mountain. He'll return to the mountain.
You shouldn't have done it, Robert. You shouldn't have started the whole thing.
I suppose I'm just beginning to realize that. Still, look what I've given to science. It's all in this notebook, the whole case history, except for one detail, the formula for the enzyme. I don't want this experiment to repeat it, ever.
I don't know what your plans are, but don't destroy him. Not the way you destroyed Kenji. Promise me that.
You did fall in love with Larry Stanford, didn't you? Tara, some of us aren't meant to know love. Not as ordinary people do. I haven't had very good luck myself in that respect.
But you've got to try with Larry. You've got to try to bring him back.
I tried with Kenji, and I kept trying with Emiko, even when I knew it was hopeless. I'm afraid that was a mistake. But with this new injection and heat, lots of heat, it may work. He might separate completely, split into two human beings. But Tara, what will they be?
I'm leaving you, Robert.
You can't leave me, Tara. We've gone through this before. Do you want to go back to where I found you?
Yes, I'll go back to that if necessary.
Don't talk like a child. Haven't I treated you well? Bought you anything you wanted? What else do you want? The illusion of respectability? All right, if that's what you want, I'll marry you. That can be arranged now.
You may need this, Robert. Police department. Inspector Aida, please.
Can you understand me, Emiko? Emiko, try hard. Try this time. You used to be my wife. And before that, you were my sweetheart. Remember? We went to America. We went to the university together. We had wonderful plans, didn't we? We were going to be great scientists, like Pierre and Marie Curie. But it didn't work out that way, did it, Emiko? I'm sorry. I don't know why. Maybe I offended the gods. Honey, I didn't used to believe in gods. Forgive me.
But did you give him my message? I see. I see. Come on. Don't be afraid. You know me. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
I guess there's nothing else we can do now, except wait.
I'll wait. I'll wait as long as I have to.
It may be quite a while. I'll have to make a formal arrest when he's well enough. I have no choice.
I understand, Superintendent.
It's going to pose quite a legal problem. Who really did all these things?
It wasn't Larry. It couldn't have been Larry. It must have been something, someone else. Why did it have to happen? Why?
I don't know, Linda. He was an average sort of guy, the image of us all. How can I say this? There was good in Larry and there was evil. The evil part broke through, took hold. Call it an accident or call it a warning.
A warning?
I'm a reporter, not a mystic, Linda. But there are things beyond us, things perhaps we're not meant to understand. If what's happened has made this all clear, well then, perhaps it makes sense after all. Have faith, Linda. Have faith in the good that's still in Larry. And in all men.
Bring out Elizabeth Selwyn.
Witch! Burn the witch!
Jethro Kane, hast thou consorted with the witch Elizabeth Selwyn?
No.
Burn the witch! Help her. Elizabeth Selwyn, on this 3rd day of March, in the year of our Lord, 1692, we, the people of Whitewood, Massachusetts, condemn thee as a witch. May the flames cleanse thy soul of its evil, of its lust for blood, but may they bring about the death of Abigail Adams.
Help her!
I have made my pact with thee, O Lucifer. Hear me! Hear me! I will do thy bidding for all eternity. For all eternity shall I practice the ritual of Black Mass. For all eternity shall I sacrifice unto thee. I give thee my soul. Take me into thy service.
O Lucifer, listen to thy servant. Grant her this pact for all eternity, and I with her. And if we fail thee but once, you may do with our souls what you will.
Make this city an example of thy vengeance. Curse it! Curse it for all eternity! And let me be the instrument of thy curse. Hear me, O Lucifer. Hear me! Making a curse. Curse?
Burn, witch, burn, witch, burn, burn, burn.
So shouted the people of Whitewood when they burned Elizabeth Selwyn in 1692. Though, as I've said, little is known today of the actual practice of witchcraft in 17th century New England, superstition, fear, and jealousy drove the Puritans to accuse their friends and relatives of consorting with the devil. Parading around huge bonfires, repeating vindictive chants, they consigned the poor creatures to the flames. The tortured souls cried out in agony as the flames mounted higher and higher. Burn, witch, burn, witch, burn, burn, burn.
Dig that crazy beat.
Shh. That will be all for today. Tomorrow will be my concluding lecture on the history of witchcraft in 17th century New England. I shall bring along some illustrations which I'm sure will interest you all.
I'll bring the matches.
Maitland! Since you chose to attend these lectures, I had hoped that it was in a spirit of scientific curiosity about the subject. That'll be all.
Bill, how could you?
He takes it all so darn seriously. He's got you all hypnotized.
Oh, Miss Barlow.
Yes, Professor.
Can I see you for a moment, please?
What about our date?
I'll meet
Look, I'll wait for you outside. Huh?
Yes, Professor.
Rather a difficult young man, that. I fear that you are more of an attraction to him than my poor efforts. However, I've been reading through your papers, Miss Barlow. They show a very sound appreciation of the subject.
I want to go to New England to do my senior paper.
Mm-hmm. They're really quite good, you know.
Oh, I'm not quite satisfied. I feel I need some first-hand research. I want to get the atmosphere. Find out how widespread witchcraft really was, what the witches were really like.
Well, that might take a little time, you know.
Well, I have the time. My brother and I were going to spend our vacation with our cousins. What I'd really like to do is to get a room in the smallest, oldest town in New England I can find. Check through all the town hall records, recheck the libraries, talk to the Puritan descendants, make a really thorough investigation.
Your brother is professor of science, Miss Barlow. I hardly think he'd be very interested in the history of witchcraft.
Then I'd go alone.
You don't think he'd object to that?
You leave Richard to me. He's picking me up here for lunch.
What, Bill? Professor Barlow. Nan here? Yeah, she's in there with him. Well, I don't like her getting mixed up in this witchcraft business. Why not? It's only part of her history course. Professor Barlow. Yeah? Before you go in there, could I have a word with you? Sure. Well, it's about Nan and me. Oh.
If you're really serious about this, I happen to know of a town in New England. As a matter of fact, it's the identical place where the events occurred that I mentioned in today's lecture, Whitewood. It's quite a small place. It's a little bit off the beaten track, so maybe these directions will help you.
Thank you.
I think you might very well find what you're looking for there. I happen to know the woman who owns the inn at Whitewood. Her name is Newless, Mrs. Newless. So you just tell her I sent you.
Raven's Inn, Whitewood.
What's Whitewood?
Now, Dick, don't be too upset, but I'm going to change my plans for the vacation.
Change your plans?
Yes. Going to a place called Whitewood for a week or so to do some research.
Who are you? What about Cousin Sue? Why, she's expecting you for a birthday party on the 17th. She'll never forget.
I can still easily make it by then. This is important. My term paper's got to be good. It could mean a scholarship.
And I've made all the arrangements.
Come on, Dick. You'll have a good time without me. My mind's made up. I'm going to Whitewood.
But surely any good encyclopedia will give you all the nonsense you want to know about witchcraft.
Witchcraft is not nonsense, Barlow.
I'm sorry, Driscoll. Witchcraft, black magic, sorcery. To me, it's nothing but fairy tale mumbo-jumbo. I'm a scientist, Driscoll. I believe what I can see, what I can feel and touch.
The basis of fairy tales is reality. The basis of reality is fairy tales.
Well,
As a scientist, you should be familiar with that quotation.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that somebody in Chicago can die of a heart attack because some woman in New Orleans sticks a pin in a wax doll.
Maybe you don't, but practitioners of voodoo claim otherwise.
Dick, you're just being difficult.
No. When I look into a microscope, Driscoll, I see bacteria swimming, fighting, existing. That's real. These witches that were persecuted and burnt in the 17th century were real, too, but they weren't witches. They were pitiful human beings, victims of hysteria.
There are many eminent scholars who have documentary proof of the actual practice of witchcraft.
Yeah, but how effective was this practice? Did any of these eminent scholars ever meet a real practicing witch? Did you ever meet a witch, Driscoll?
Perhaps.
Oh, come on, you're an historian. No witch ever survived the burning at the stake for all that pact with the devil.
In 1692, Elizabeth Selwyn went to the stake. She was buried in a churchyard in New England. And yet 3 years later...
Yeah?
3 years later, a new wave of blood sacrifices broke out in the village that had condemned her. The daughters of the elders who had condemned her were themselves found murdered with every last drop of blood drained from their bodies. And afterwards, people came forward to testify that they had actually seen Elizabeth Selwyn.
Oh, stop. This would be more effective at midnight with howling winds and crashing thunder, and even then it wouldn't frighten anyone.
Dick, I'm sorry, Professor Driscoll.
That's all right, Miss Barlow. You won't be the first person to have scoffed at the subject.
Honey, when you get to, where is it?
Whitewood.
Ah, yes, Whitewood. Well, send me a picture postcard of a witch. If possible, autographed. Now, let's have some lunch, eh?
I'm sorry, I have a date.
Nan, darling, I still don't see why you have to go off to this Whitewood place. Now, I thought we were going to have some time together during this vacation.
You know I want to be with you. It's just this is important.
Look, what the heck can you find that hasn't been found before?
I don't know. It's just that maybe, hidden in some attic or buried in some old antique shop, there's something that might give a whole new outlook to the subject.
What new outlook can there be?
You're a science student, honey. You know how important research is.
But this isn't about anything real. This is just superstitious people burning silly old women.
But suppose the women weren't silly. Suppose they really had a pact with the devil. A pact that could have supernatural power.
Oh, come on. What kind of power?
I don't know.
Look, it's no use, Bill. We've both tried our hardest to talk her out of going.
Do you really think she will find anything worthwhile?
Well, I think we have to respect her desire to find something new, even if we don't agree with the subject.
Agree with it? I've never heard so much nonsense as that guy Driscoll talks in all my life.
Well, here I am, all packed.
Oh, I suppose there's nothing I can say will stop you from going, huh? Yeah, well, I'll put this in the car.
I still hoped you'd change your mind, Nan.
Don't worry, darling. I'll be back as quick as I can, and I'll write.
Well, don't forget me altogether, huh?
I won't. Give Sue my love, and don't forget we have a date at our party.
Goodbye, darling.
Excuse me, can you help me? I seem to be lost.
Sure, if I can.
I'm looking for the Wamport Road.
Wamport Road, hardly anyone uses that anymore.
Well, my friend gave me the directions. Take Road 28A, turn onto the Wamport Road, bear left at the fork through to Whitewood.
Whitewood?
Am I that far away?
No, ma'am, not far. Not many God-fearing folks visit Whitewood nowadays. If I were you, I'd...
If you'll excuse me, I'm in a hurry. Which way is it?
Well, follow this road about 2 miles. You come to a fork. There'll be a sign, Wamport Road. Turn left, keep straight. There'll be Whitewood.
Thank you very much. Does that sign say Wamport Road?
Wamport Road, yes.
Oh, good. I was afraid I missed it.
Is it Whitewood you seek?
Yes.
I, too. Would I be imposing if...
No, of course not. Get in.
Thank you.
I think the Highway Commission would do something about these roads. Watch out, here comes another bump.
What is your mission in Whitewood?
Mission? Well, I'm going there to do some research on witchcraft. Professor Driscoll gave us some very interesting lectures on the subject, and I'm going there to get some original source material. Do you know Whitewood?
I've known it for many years.
Do you go there often?
Fairly often.
Oh, then you must know the Raven's Inn.
I shall be resting there.
Oh, so shall I. Oh, my name's Nan Barlow.
My name's Jethro Keene.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
Just like a picture out of a history book. I feel as though I were in the 17th century. Why hasn't Whitewood been written about?
It's off the beaten path. Few tourists come here. For Whitewood, time stands still.
Look at that church. Must have been beautiful. What a shame they let it get so run down. Straight on?
Yes, follow the road around.
Ah, there it is. What a lovely old building. 17th century at least. How picturesque can you get? Right by the graveyard.
Yes, it has not been used for more than 200 years.
Any witches buried there?
There are indeed. All in a section of unconsecrated ground.
Spooky, isn't it? Well, keep your fingers crossed for me, Mr. Keene. I hope Mrs. Newlis has that room. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. Are you Mrs. Newlis? Oh, I'm Nan Barlow. I was told I might find a room here. I was recommended by a friend of mine, Professor Driscoll. Perhaps you know him.
That will be all, Lottie. Sorry to keep you waiting. Unfortunately, Lottie cannot talk. I've often told her not to answer the bell.
Oh, poor thing. Then you're Mrs. Newlis.
I am. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like to have a room here for 2 weeks.
The hotel is quite full. Oh, the guests are never about at this time of the day.
Well, I'm a student of Professor Driscoll's. He told me if I mentioned his name, I'd have no trouble.
Well, there is a room I could let you have. It's just off the lobby.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Mrs. Newlis, that plaque. Is it true that Elizabeth Selwyn was really burnt here for being a witch?
She was?
And do you believe she was a witch?
Come along. I'll show you to your room. I hope you will be comfortable. Yes, it is a nice room. The previous occupants have always found it most agreeable. Well, if there's anything you should need, just ring the bell for me at the desk.
Thank you.
It's been so many months. I've counted the days to this holiday.
So have the others. It wasn't easy for some of my guests to get here. Many had to travel vast distances.
I was lucky. The last few miles were enchanting. Miss Barlow is very good company.
You must be tired, Jethro. Your room is ready.
And the festivities.
I am prepared.
Oh, Mrs. Newlis. I thought I'd have a short look around town. I won't be gone long.
I think you'll find the church interesting. Unfortunately, it no longer has a congregation.
He will be pleased.
I'm told this was once a house of worship.
It is still a house of worship. I am the reverend of this church. As long as the breath of life is within me, this house shall remain God's house.
Must have been a beautiful building.
To me, it is still beautiful.
I'm sorry. What a shame the people have let it fall into such a state.
Strangers rarely come to Whitewood. Who are you?
I'm Nan Barlow. I'm staying at the Raven's Inn.
Why have you come to Whitewood?
Well, because I'm interested in witchcraft.
Young woman, leave Whitewood. Leave Whitewood tonight. For 300 years, the devil has hovered over this city, made it his own. The people in it are his. Evil has triumphed over good here. Look at my church. I have no parish. No one worships here. His is the power.
What power?
Leave Whitewood. Leave Whitewood tonight. I beg of you.
What power?
Leave before it is too late.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please excuse the mess. We haven't been open long.
You have some very interesting things here.
Yes, they belong to my grandmother. When she died, I came back to sort things out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then you don't live here?
No, my family lived here for generations, but I've just been back a few weeks. Would you like to have a look around?
Thank you. Oh, I didn't mean to frighten you when I came in. It's just that all the people I've met here have acted like I'm a person from another world.
They don't see many strangers here.
And I had the most, well, unusual experience with the Reverend. He barred my way from the church. And he talked to me about a curse. And he warned me to leave Whitewood. Can you explain that?
No, I can't.
Does he often act that way?
He's my grandfather.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's happened before with strangers. Oh, the lack of parishioners and loss of his sight has made him bitter and suspicious.
I'm afraid what with him and the town, I was very scared. When I saw your lights, I made a dash for them.
I'm glad you did.
Do you have any books or pamphlets on witchcraft? You do, don't you? A friend of mine...
Well, we have a collection gathering dust, but why on earth would you be interested in... Oh, I'm sorry. It's really none of my business.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'm studying it in college, and I've come here to write my term paper.
Well, just wait. I'll see what I can find. That's Elizabeth Selwyn, burned as a witch, March 3rd, 1692.
Yes, I know. I saw the plaque in the lobby of the hotel.
You're staying at the Raven's Inn?
Yes. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine, Professor Driscoll.
Alan Driscoll?
Yes, do you know him?
No, but my grandfather speaks of him. His family come from here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Here, I think this will do for a start. What a lovely locket. May I see it?
I believe it's quite old.
Oh, it is. You're very lucky.
I'm even more lucky to have found this. A treatise on devil worship in New England. This must be a very rare book. I'm afraid I couldn't afford to buy it.
You can borrow it, if you like.
Oh, could I? That would be wonderful. I promise I'll bring it back in a few days.
You're very welcome, Miss,
Barlow. Nan Barlow.
Nan Barlow.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Yes, Miss Barlow?
I've heard some strange noises in my room.
Oh, possibly the water in the pipes. This is a very old inn.
No, it seemed to be coming from the cellar underneath.
I hardly think so, Miss Barlow. The cellars do not extend beneath your room.
Then why is there a trapdoor in the floor?
The ground was filled in many years ago to strengthen the foundations of the building.
But I'm sure
Well, if you insist, I will come and see. I don't hear anything.
Well, just a few minutes ago. Never mind, I'm sorry.
You're welcome. But you can see for yourself there is no ring in the trapdoor because there is no reason to lift it. There is nothing underneath but earth.
Come in. Oh, hello, Lottie. Come in. Oh, I don't need any more towels. I haven't used mine, and they're quite clean.
Lottie, I've told you before not to bother the guests. Miss Barlow, I thought you might care to join the others.
I will as soon as I finish my notes. I'll put some clothes on and join them.
A treatise on devil worship in New England. Well, do you find this interesting?
Why, it's fascinating. The things I've learned. I bet you don't know the half of it. And you live right here on a spot where the witches were actually burnt. Listen to this. On Candlemas Eve, February 1st, in the year 1692, a coven of witches, a coven that's 13, some men, some women, whose power came from the devil, gathered beneath the Raven's Inn to perform a black mass in the honor of Lucifer. The witch Elizabeth Selwyn, later to be burnt at the stake, marked a young girl for sacrifice by obtaining an object of value belonging to her with which to call her, and leaving in its place a dead bird and a sprig of woodbine. The witches sacrificed her on the altar and drank her blood at the hour of 13. What's the hour of 13?
Well, personally, I have never heard a clock strike more than 12. Now, how about joining the dancing?
In a little while, I promise. Oh, by the way, I seem to have misplaced my locket. I remember having it in my room, and now it's disappeared.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll ask Lottie.
Well, I'm not saying it was stolen. It's just, I remember having it on the dresser, and now it's gone. I would appreciate it.
Of course. I'll look into it immediately. Lottie, I have warned you too often about annoying our guests. If you disobey me again, I shall turn you out. And if I turn you out, there will be no place for you anywhere. You do understand, Lottie, don't you? Ah, Miss Barlow. I'm afraid Lottie is nowhere to be found, but I will inquire about your locket first thing in the morning.
Oh, thank you. Where is everybody?
Most of the other guests have gone to services.
Services on the 1st of February? Candlemas Eve. The night when the witches mocked the rituals of the church.
Are you all right, Miss Barlow?
Yes, quite. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Miss Barlow. Elizabeth Selwyn.
No, no!
11.
No! Let go of me! Let
12.
go!
Hey! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susie. Happy birthday to you.
Yummy. Delicious.
Dick, have you got any idea what's happened to Nan?
I'm sure she'll show up. She probably met a good-looking he-witch and is bringing him along to the party, only their broomstick blew a gasket.
Well, it's not like Nan to be late for anything. Aren't you a bit worried about her?
Oh, she'll be here. I'm sure she'll make it. Oh, it's probably here now.
Well, you answer the door, and I'm going to put a record on for some dancing.
All right. Hi, Dick.
Bill.
Oh, what's the matter? You expecting somebody else?
Oh, yes, Nan. Look, come in, come in.
Well, Nan, didn't she hear you? We made a date to meet here before she left for Whitewood.
Well, she probably got held up. Look, give me your coat, huh?
Ah, Nan was never late for anything in her life.
Relax. Take it easy. Join the party. She'll be here.
Dick. Dick, I haven't had a letter from Nan in over 2 weeks now.
She's probably been too busy working on her paper.
No, there's something wrong, I know it. Look, will you do something for me?
Hmm?
Ring up Whitewood, will you? Ask him if she's left.
You serious?
Yes, I am.
Okay. On a long distance, I'd like to speak with Miss Nan Barlow at the Raven's Inn, Whitewood. No, I don't know the phone number.
What? Didn't she give you the phone number?
Oh, I know, but that's my sister. They say there's no such place as the Raven's Inn.
But that's crazy. She's staying there.
Give me...
She left in such a hurry, she must have forgotten to return it to you, Miss Russell.
She seems such a nice girl, too. Wouldn't have thought she was the sort who'd forget to return a book.
We cannot always judge by our first impressions, can we?
I'm not usually wrong about the people I lend my books to.
Well, perhaps you'll be more careful in future.
Thank you for letting me have it.
Remember me to your grandfather. Lottie, get out of the way, you clumsy creature.
Can I help you?
Yes, we're from the sheriff's office. We had a call this evening. A missing persons report from some college kid named Nan Barlow. The party calling said that her last known whereabouts was the Raven's Inn.
And Barlow, that's strange. Yes, I met her.
When did you last see her?
About 2 weeks ago. She came to my shop and borrowed this book. It's quite valuable, and so not hearing from her, I decided to come and get it. Mrs. Newless had it.
May I?
Yes.
That treat is on devil worship. I must put this in the report. Peculiar things some of these college kids do nowadays. Well, thanks for your help. Come on, Charlie.
Hello? Yeah? It's police. Yeah? Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Well?
The police sent a car out to the Raven's Inn. And checked out 2 weeks ago.
I don't get it.
Well, neither do I.
Look, these are Nan's books and papers. Go through them. See if you can find anything which might give us a lead. I'm going to pay a visit to a colleague of mine.
Lord of Light. Accept the sacrifice. Barlow.
May I come in?
Well, yes, of course, please do. Can I take your coat?
I tried to phone you last night, but I guess you weren't in.
No, no, I wasn't. Do you care to go in the study? Sit yourself down.
Thanks.
You take a drink?
Ryan soda.
Ice?
Please.
So what's on your mind?
Well, Nan's missing. And she has been since the day after she arrived at Whitewood.
Really? You quite sure?
That's what the police said.
What are they doing about it?
Carrying out a routine check. I don't suppose they can do much more until they've got something definite to go on.
Well, I would have thought there was a very great deal more they could do.
What? As far as they're concerned, she disappeared 2 weeks ago, and no one in the village seems to know anything about it.
What did you come see me for?
I thought you might have some ideas. Why did you send her to Whitewood?
Because it was the best place for her research.
And you suggested she stay at the Raven's Inn.
Sure, it's the only inn there is.
With an unlisted phone number?
The inn has its own clientele, Barlow. It doesn't need to advertise.
How do you know it so well?
Because I was born in Whitewood.
I see. And you'd have every reason to believe she'd be perfectly safe in going there.
I have no reason to suppose that she wouldn't be. Nan struck me as being perfectly capable of taking care of herself.
Yeah, I grant you that, but why hasn't she come back or let us know?
Look, Barlow, I can understand your anxiety, but I'm quite sure there's nothing for you to worry about. Nothing at all. She's probably got absorbed in the subject and gone off someplace. I wish that all my class had her application.
Yeah, well, I'm going to find out where this application led her. I'm going to retrace every step Nan took. I'm either going to find Nan or know what happened to her.
I can't stop you from going.
No.
I'm not afraid.
Afraid? Why?
Well, if anything did happen to your sister and somebody else went along to try and find out about it.
Same thing might happen to them?
Possible.
You seem to think something happened to my sister then.
No, I just think you're jumping to conclusions, Barlow.
Maybe, but I shall find her.
Professor Driscoll?
Yes.
I don't like to disturb you, but may I see you?
Well, of course, please come in. Good luck in Whitewood.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, but did you say he was going to Whitewood?
Yes, he is.
It's silly to be surprised, but I've just come from Whitewood.
Really? Quite a coincidence. My own family happens to come from Whitewood. As a matter of fact, I was born there.
Yes, I know.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
Do you care for a drink?
No, thank you. I think you know my grandfather, the Reverend Russell.
Russell? Why, yes, of course I do. How long have you been living in Whitewood?
Since my grandmother died a few weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, now, how can I help you?
I've come about a pupil of yours, Barlow, Nan Barlow.
Yes?
She came to Whitewood 2 weeks ago. I met her and liked her, and she told me that she was a student in one of your classes, that you recommended that she stay at the Raven's Inn.
That's quite right, I did.
Well, that's what I've come to see you about. On the day after she arrived, she disappeared.
Oh?
Later, the police came asking questions. Her family were worried. I thought you might have their address.
And why do you want her family's address?
Because I have something of hers I want to return.
Well, you just leave it with me, and I'll make sure they get it safely.
Well, I don't want to trouble you. If you just give me their address.
As you wish. Her address is Dorchester Street, 225. She lives with her brother. As a matter of fact, he's a colleague of mine, and you just met him. He was leaving when you arrived. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of work to do. I'm rather a busy man at the moment.
Of course. Thank you for your help.
Not at all. I hope it achieves something.
Well, you will remember me to your grandfather, won't you?
Yes, of course. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Russell.
Yeah, that's Nan's locket, all right.
As far as I know, it's unique. I gave it to her. Where did you get it?
The servant at the inn gave it to me. It was strange. I don't think she wanted Mrs. Newless to know I had it.
Mrs. Newless?
Oh, she runs the inn.
Well, why did you come here, Miss Russell?
I found this.
It's Professor Driscoll's notepaper.
I found it in the pages of a book I lent your sister on her first evening in Whitewood. When she didn't return it, I went to the hotel.
What was the book?
An old book. Book about witchcraft.
Do you believe in it, Miss Russell?
I don't know. Sometimes I almost think I live with it.
Live with it?
It's an obsession of my grandfather's. Up till now, I didn't take him very seriously. He's an old man. But now I'm beginning to wonder if what he says isn't true.
What does he say?
That there's something evil about the village. That on certain nights, the inhabitants leave the streets, close their doors, and stay behind them. That on these nights, the dead come to life.
Nights like Candlemas Eve?
What do you know about Candlemas Eve?
It's in one of Nan's books.
I don't believe it. Things like this don't happen today.
In Whitewood, I wonder.
I'm going to Whitewood tomorrow after classes. I can give you a lift.
Thank you, but I must get back. I can't leave my grandfather alone. He's blind.
May I come and see you when I arrive? I'd like to have a talk with him.
Please do. It's the house next to the church. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll see you to the door.
Would you be going to Whitewood?
Yes.
Would you take me along with you? It's a dark night for walking. You're the Reverend Russell's granddaughter, aren't you?
Yes, how did you know?
I know a great deal about Whitewood.
Have you ever been there?
Now and then.
Never seen you.
To see me is a special privilege. It's reserved for a chosen few.
What does that mean?
We'll soon be at Whitewood now.
This is as far as I go. You will...
She's pretty, too.
Yes, she is. Very pretty.
A living descendant of those who were cursed. It somehow seems to make it better.
Another day.
And tomorrow.
The witch's Sabbath.
Which way to Wamport Road?
Straight ahead, fork in the road, you see a sign, turn left. You heading for Whitewood?
I am. Many people head this way?
Not many.
Is this the only way in and out of the town?
In this direction, yep.
You wouldn't remember by any chance a pretty girl in a convertible about a month ago?
The Barlow girl. Read about her in the papers. Never seen her again. Told the police.
Thanks.
Could you tell me the way to Whitewood, please?
Another one. Straight ahead. Fork in the road, you see a sign, Warmport Road. Turn left, takes you right in.
But thanks.
Let me warn you, young fella, they don't like strangers in Whitewood.
Okay, fine. Thanks very much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like a room, please.
The inn is closing.
I'll only be here a few days.
But the inn is closing.
When?
In 2 days.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to stay until then.
If you insist.
And could I have the same room my sister had? Still available, isn't it?
Yes, it's available.
Mrs. Newless, you told the police that my sister checked out.
You are mistaken, Mr. Barlow. I told them that on the morning of February 2nd, I went to her room and found it empty, her bed not slept in, her luggage and car gone, and her bill unpaid.
Well, you can put the charges on mine. When was the last time you saw her?
On the evening of February 1st. It was shortly before midnight. She'd been in the lobby here dancing with some of the guests. She seemed to be enjoying herself.
Did any particular guest pay her? You know why she came to Whitewood? Have antagonized anyone in the village?
Hardly. There have been other students here, you know. Besides, your sister was a very agreeable and likable young woman.
Well, have you any idea where she might have gone?
None.
Thank you. Now, may I see the room?
As you wish. It is this way. If you should need anything and I am not at the desk, you have only to ring the bell.
Thank you.
so glad you've come. I saw your car outside the Ravens Inn earlier. I wondered what had happened to you.
I've been talking with Mrs. Newless, and then I took a walk around the village.
Find out anything?
Everyone here seems to be afraid of something.
And you don't think it's just my imagination?
I don't know. Who's to say where imagination ends and truth begins? It's nothing tangible. It's just the way they look at you.
I felt it too.
May I see the book that Nan borrowed?
Yes, I put a marker between the pages where she must have stopped reading. Just sit down and I'll tell my grandfather you're here.
Thank you.
I warned you, Lottie.
Grandfather, this is Mr. Barlow.
How do you do, sir?
God be with you.
Shall we sit where we'll be more comfortable? Here's your chair, Grandfather. You must be tired.
I am really tired. I have little strength left these days for the fight.
Won't you sit down? I'll make some coffee.
The fight against what, Mr. Russell?
Against the evil that besets this village. The people are creatures of the devil. They know no other God.
You mean they worship Satan here? Today?
Satanism was never stronger than at the present time. For 200 years, the people of Whitewood have carried out rituals that mock the church's teaching.
I find it very hard to believe, sir.
Do not doubt, my son. It is real enough. For years, I struggled against the witches. Their master took away my sight.
Seems incredible.
I have tried to convince others. They too found it unbelievable. But I know these people have a pact with the devil to worship him and do his works. In return, he gives them eternal life.
Eternal life?
Aye. And to seal this bargain, they must sacrifice a young girl on 2 nights of the year.
When are these nights, sir?
Candlemas Eve and the witch's Sabbath.
Candlemas Eve, that's February the 1st. And when is the witch's Sabbath?
Tonight.
Now you know why I came to see you.
I had no idea it was so late. May I have a rain check on the coffee? I'd like to have a few words with Miss Newless again.
Of course.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
I'll see you to the door.
God be with us.
Oh, Miss Russell, do you think that Nan's disappearance is connected in some way with these witches' ceremonies?
Yes.
Well, I'd like to come back later, if I may.
Please do. And my name is Pat.
Oh, mine's Richard.
I think I feel better now you're here.
Well, I'm going to stay until I find out what's happened to Nan.
Take care. Now drink your coffee before it gets cold.
You must not see that young man again tonight.
Why not?
The devil comes in many disguises.
I'll get you a spoon. Grandfather, there's a bird in the drawer. It's got an arrow through it.
Go and look on the front door.
It's a sprig of woodbine.
Shut the door! Shut the door quickly!
Grandfather, what does it mean?
Now listen, my darling. This is their sign. The witch's sign.
What can we do?
We must leave here. Leave here immediately.
Start the car. Something's wrong. They've wrecked the car.
Barlow! Phone Barlow!
Hello? Hello? Hello, I want the Ravens Inn.
Yes, Mrs. Newless. Mr. Barlow.
Is that for me?
Yes.
Hello?
Dick? Dick, I'm in terrible danger. We've got to leave Whitewood at once.
Danger? But from what?
We've got to leave...
Pat!
Dick, help me!
Patricia! Pat!
Pat! Patricia! Mr. Russell, are you there?
What's happened, Mr. Russell?
The witches. The witches have Patricia. Destroy them.
Mr. Russell, how?
The shadow of the cross. Use the cross. I adjure thee, O creatures of salt, by the living God.
Mr. Russell.
Maitland! Maitland, what's happened?
Patricia!
Hello. Hello, operator?
been waiting for you.
Dick, these are the dead who killed Nan.
Barlow.
Dick, help me.
Come on, Pat, hurry up!
Dick, right. Dick!
Maitland! Get to a cross! A cross! Shadow of a cross!
Dick, he's moving.
Lift the cross! Quick! Jesus, folks! I'm journey by the living God! Back from the cross! Come nearer, Bill! Get the shadow of him!
It comes nearer.
Not fail. We must finish the sacrifice.
Dick!
Wait! Wait for the hour of 13.
Are you right?
I think so.
Got a score to settle with Mrs. Newlis.
You stay here.